been called the new First Lady of Fashion, thanks to a wardrobe designed in China. Hung Yuan, the wife of Chinese President Xi Jinping, may be promoting Chinese fashion by wearing it, but when it comes to creating and crafting China's own unique style, the industry is forging ahead on its own. I'm Christy Liu Stout in Shanghai, the fashion capital of China, with a look at the designers and retailers who are redefining style. They must, out of necessity. China's designers are struggling to gain more training and experience to create apparel that can actually sell at home and abroad. Retailers are contending with the fashion market more attuned to high-end Western labels and local brands. All this while President Xi wages a fierce campaign against luxury, calling into question what is sartorially acceptable. Despite the challenges, the industry's leading players have bold designs for the future. This month on China, designer Chris Chang, creative director of Poesia, a Shanghai-based women's line she started in 2009. Hung Huang, publisher, blogger, and founder of Brand New China, the Beijing-based design concept store featuring more than 150 Chinese designers. And Andrew Keith, president of Hong Kong's Lane Crawford, the luxury retailer with a new flagship store in Shanghai. All at the table this month on China. Chris Chang, Hung Huang, and Andrew Keith, welcome to On China. We're in Shanghai, which is arguably the fashion capital of China. How would you describe the sense of style here?
I think it's very dynamic. I think Shanghai is a bit like Paris. People dress. People really put out and they really dress, which makes the city very beautiful.
Yes, China is so big that actually different regions of the country have different mentality for way of dressing. I find that people in the north are more daring. They like to buy statement pieces. They're not so much in tune with what's in trend, what is trendy now, but they like the one-off pieces, the statement pieces. Whereas people in Shanghai and down south, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, people there are more in tune with what's happening on a global stage, what is a trend now, and they follow that closely. So it's a little bit different, I think, from the north to the south.
It's an interesting point, and one of the things that we're finding in Shanghai is that whilst there's an understanding of what's happening internationally, what's exciting is that people are wanting to express their own individuality.
Very much.
And so they're really looking for points of difference. They're looking for brands, they're looking for designers that are new,
exactly,
that are exciting, and that are bringing something new to the market. And that's what we're experiencing with the new store that we've opened in Shanghai.
And how big is the business? I mean, just how big is the appetite for fashion in China?
Oh, I think that the appetite for fashion in China is limitless. I mean, the energy and the passion that the youth in China are showing in terms of the desire to dress and to be able to show themselves is great. And I think that really there's a limitless possibilities here.
And something that's been in the headlines recently, the anti-corruption crackdown. How is it affecting luxury brands and luxury fashion companies in China?
From Lane Crawford's perspective, where we have over 500 brands, what we're seeing is that there's not really any effect on our business at all. In actual fact, we're seeing positive growth. And I think that's because we are selling brands that are not ubiquitous. They're brands that are relatively tight in terms of their distribution. So people are coming to Lane Crawford to see new brands.
So if you're going to have an anti-corruption campaign, you're going to have a little bit down on the gifting side of it, which doesn't mean that fashion will take a hit, you know? And so actually, as a small sort of business operator focusing on local design, we have enjoyed a growth in actually our business because people are now paying more attention on just enjoying fashion rather than using it as a way to get connection, and that kind of bling emphasis is gone.
My customers are buying for their own pleasure. My customers are not buying as gifts for other people. So actually it's been great for my business. And also the fact that now they're staying a little bit away from luxury. It means really a maturation of taste. People that are buying into luxury really enjoy luxury for what it is, the heritage, the craftsmanship. And while the other group that are buying my stuff and things from Lane Crawford and BNC, they're really fashion lovers. They understand fashion. They want to be unique and individual. So my customers are built on that base where they understand fashion. They've worn Chanel's in the past. They've worn Prada's in the past, but now they want something individual and just more fun and beautiful.
So it's the rise of the individual in terms of fashion sense in China.
Definitely.
What does made in China mean for fashion consumers today in China? Made and designed in China, I should say.
If you're Chinese and you have been exposed to Western design and luxury goods, you do become curious as to what Chinese designers are doing, not necessarily always in terms of luxury, but in terms of fashion, in terms of industrial design. There is that natural curiosity because I think for most Chinese, there is a great eagerness to rediscover Chinese culture in many ways, in food, in fashion, in lifestyle, because they have experienced all the wonders that Europeans and Americans have imported into China. And this actually prompted them to be more curious about themselves. So for me, the growth of BNC is really closely tied to a self-discovery that is going on in contemporary Chinese culture right now.
I think made in China right now, to the world, it means novelty. Because China has turned from factory of the world to market of the world. And now everybody wants to see what it is as innovators of the world. So right now it's a novelty for the world to look into what Chinese designers are doing. But I think there's a saying in Chinese that it takes 3 generations of wealth to know how to live and to eat. And so it doesn't take one day to turn over the negative images of made in China that people had in the past. But I think it's coming along. And I think with stores like Lane Crawford and BNC carrying Chinese designers, that's like putting their endorsement on what the new made in China means.
I think to Chris's point, for me, it's not so much made in China anymore. It's about created in China. And it's about China driving innovation. And what's exciting is to see this generation, Chris, and a number of other Chinese designers really looking at how they can innovate on a global stage. And by mining the depth of what culture can offer China, looking at that being married together with manufacturing capabilities, together with a commercial acumen. And that's something that with Lane Crawford, we've been working with a number of Chinese designers, marrying commercial ability with design and innovative ability to produce collections and products which are going to really resonate with today's modern consumers. And we're very excited because in our store here in Shanghai, we're actually showcasing the work of 3 very talented new generation of Chinese designers. And to Huang's point, what's very exciting is to see how those designers are actually resonating commercially. So we're already reordering on those designer collections based on the appetite and desire for the Chinese consumers to actually buy into the visions of these new generations of talent.
What she did in that one moment, stepping out of a plane in Russia, is probably 5 times what I've been trying to do for the past 10 years. She put Chinese design on the map.
FaceTime on Marketplace Europe in association with Germany Trade and Invest.
We probably went largely on instinct. You're supposed to do market research and things like that and have a business model in mind, and we had neither of those things. We didn't know how we'd make money from the idea, and we were just going on instinct that other people would like this. The ideal interface is one in which you have the minimum on there, so you have the least distraction to achieve your goal.
FaceTime on Marketplace Europe in association with Germany Trade and Invest.
Welcome to Mazda City, the city of growth, the city of possibilities. A free zone located in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, that welcomes companies large and small, bringing together a diverse range of tenants and professionals. A unique business climate, a place for research and partnership, offering competitive business advantage. Join us and the other companies who've chosen Mazda City to be the home of their business. We are Mazda City, the city of possibilities.
International Desk, tonight on CNN.
Fashion in its modern sense only started about probably 10 years ago in China. It's not just Chinese designers, young designers around the world, they're having a difficult time trying to break in to the top tier of the fashion industry. Everything that you can think of, someone else has done it. And it's very hard to come up with a new idea.
Louder, louder, the music. I want to hear the music louder.
For the Chinese designers, it's another layer of difficulty, which is that, you know, they did not have that generations of accumulation of culture, design, and ideas and creativity.
Most Chinese want to have something that's classical Chinese, but has modern, contemporary relevance to our lives. I mean, the actual very skin-tight, high-slit qipao where you see in restaurants, which in the Western mind, that's Chinese fashion. It's actually not what today's Chinese want to wear anymore. We want that to be refitted for modern life, for movement, for talking to people, for out there having fun and things like that. So designers like Chris are really relevant to us today simply because they've taken something that is very classical and they've done something with it. You know, they modernized it, they made it relevant.
Chris, tell me more about your reference points as a designer. What inspires you?
I love minority costumes. And when I travel to places like Yunnan, Xinjiang, Xizang, places like that, I feel right at home. The way they piece everything together, the way they throw jewelry on, I feel like I was here before. So that's always very inspirational to me, the minority costumes. And also the progression from doing one collection to the next, it's always very natural to me. What I'm doing now and how it should be carried into the next collection, I always feel like there's too much I want to say in this collection, so I'm going to save it and then reinterpret that the next season.
Let's talk about the young, emerging Chinese designers today. How well trained are they? Where do they go for an education in China?
A lot of them went to Central St. Martin. There are some now beginning to go to Parsons. The ones from...
So they all go overseas and come back?
Overseas. And there are some that are local graduates. The issue with Chinese education is that it is super technically focused on manufacturing. You know, you probably, if you're trained in China as a fashion designer, most likely you are most familiar with the manufacturing process versus the design process.
Chris, you were a judge on a show, a reality TV show called My Style,
yes,
which was China's answer to Project Runway.
这一面的背后是什么吗？危险。不是。对我来说，安全的另一面就是中庸。And I was very critical, very mean.
Which is
very
good.
nasty.
You were constructive.
Yeah.
What kind of impact do you think it made on not just the young designers on the show, but all the designers across China who were watching it?
Well, I think the message that I was trying to get to everybody is that you can't be a designer just because you love fashion or just because you like to buy fashion. It's a tough industry. Deadline is the utmost important thing that we were taught at Parsons. If you miss the deadline, you've missed the season. If the fabric missed delivery, then you've missed the season. Going back to education, I think it's absolutely necessary for designers to have seen more, to have spent some time abroad, because this broadens their horizon, and this gives them a sense of how competitive it really is out there.
So in China, how do you market to the fashion consumer, and how is it different compared to the West?
I think, you know, one of the critical things in China is to be able to tell brilliant stories and to be able to put things into context so that the customers understand what brands mean, what designers' visions are, where they're coming from in terms of being able to share that, because a lot of it is new to the market. And so people are going through that sense of discovery, which is incredibly exciting to be able to help that process, to help shape and be able to form people's discoveries of their own personal style and of also all the great product that the world has to offer. So I think from a marketing point of view, it's about being able to drive the storytelling, being able to put things into context, and being able to explain why these products or these designers are important for you to know about.
Now, outside looking in, arguably one of the biggest tastemakers in China is Peng Liyuan, the First Lady of China. But really, how much influence has she had on fashion and style in China?
Because China is an authoritarian society. So anyone in her position carries huge amount of influence. Now, I have worked in promoting Chinese designers since 2005. I have to say, what she did in that one moment, stepping out of a plane in Russia, wearing Chinese design goods, is probably 5 times what I've been trying to do for the past 10 years in terms of influence, because she is who she is in China. And all of a sudden, she put Chinese design on the map.
Yeah, she's been compared to, in terms of the style stakes, Kate Middleton or Michelle Obama. But correct me if I'm wrong here, has she been on the cover of a major fashion magazine in China?
I think if she wants to be, she can be on all of them, but I don't think she wants to be.
Well, yeah, why not?
I think her influence is global, despite the fact that she doesn't need to necessarily go on the cover of a magazine. And I think that, what she's able to do in terms of being able to showcase Chinese design on a global stage is actually unique. Very few people, I think, have the ability that she does to be able to do that. So, I don't think she's positioning herself necessarily as a fashion icon. Yeah. What she's positioning herself as is a supporter of what's happening from a commercial and industry perspective here in China. And that's very different to wanting to be on the cover of a magazine necessarily.
I totally agree.
Do you think there'll be a Chinese fashion brand one day that will rival Prada, Chanel, Burberry? I mean, could that really happen soon?
When travelling with samples to customers, exhibiting at fairs and trade shows, or transporting equipment, choose the simple and proven way to clear customs. The ATA Carnet, the passport for goods. ATA Carnets are accepted around the world. To obtain an ATA Carnet in your country, visit passportforgoods.com.
I'm a Gulf citizen.
I am a Gulf citizen.
Golf Citizen is an online golf booking platform that lets you book in real time with no extra fees. With instant confirmation,